Amy!
How
What's
you
up?
doing?
How am I? I'm discombobulated, the same as ever, the same way I've always been. Except for
Sick.
last time I saw you had like blue hair though, so now I'm blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, still
Are you
big.
still doing the brown and the black though?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Nice, nice.
You know, like girl metal interview, what's the first thing we talk about? Hair. All right.
Gotta love it.
Nothing stereotypical about that at all. Amy, tell people that live under a rock who you are and what you do.
All right. Oh man. So I'm Amy Lee Carlson. I sing for a speed metal band called Solicitor, based out of Seattle. I used to sing for a heavy metal band called Substratum, also based out of Seattle. I currently live in Portland, Oregon, and I run a custom leather business called Babe Finder General. Um, and pardon me, because I have a little bit of a lisp, so you might have to look that up later. But I'll spell it out and include it in captions and stuff.
Yeah, it'll be in the show notes. My bag from your company is in the other room, so at some point during the
Yeah,
I'm gonna like run into another room and grab it real quick.
do
Um,
it.
like maybe now.
I love this.
There's nothing like slick and Hollywood about this channel. It's
I
all
love it. I love it.
oh,
So that was one of the first bags that I made in that style. Like what, 2 years ago?
I love it so much. Not
I'm
to
so glad that it's held up this long. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't, but still, I'm glad that it did.
Yeah, there's been no trouble at all with it. I did take the big chain off and put lace on,
Right, right.
and the lace hasn't held up, but that's because it was cheap. Um,
Okay.
but the bag, I love it, and I always get
You know,
compliments.
if you wanted me to do like a custom white 4 plate braided strap, I could do that.
All right, girl, I'll take
And
it. Oh,
I can make it so you can tighten, like you could tie it in a knot and tighten it and short it.
oh yeah, that's what I need because I'm so short that like normal straps are like my bag is at my knees.
Yeah,
Um,
not everyone's a 6 foot Valkyrie like I am.
nope. She's making Valkyrie bags, pixie size. Got
Yeah.
a custom strap for me. Are you going to be at Legions of Metal?
I'm trying my best to
Okay.
make it to Legions because that lineup this year is so fucking stacked. It's probably one of the best lineups they've had,
Yeah,
um,
I got
especially coming out of the pandemic.
yes. Yeah, because you played before the pandemic.
Yeah, we played in 2019. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, man, I'm already off topic and we're just getting started. But okay, because I got a ticket and I just got my flight today, so
Oh,
I'm gonna
nice.
be there. And I think I'm staying at Danica from Viper Witch's Airbnb.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right
Um,
on.
so I don't know how
Yeah,
big.
I usually when I attend that festival or visit Chicago, I usually stay in Chinatown at the Chinatown Hotel,
Oh,
which if you want like an 80s throwback like
I do.
Escape from New York vibe, it's
I
kind of
love
got that going on. Definitely low budget rooms, but the staff are super nice. They're super kind. And when I want to feel a little fancier, I stay at the South Loop Hotel just down the street, and they're both on State Street, just off of State Street there. So
it. Okay, sick.
like South Loop Hotel is like maybe a 25-30 minute walk,
Not to like
and
tell everybody where we're staying or anything while we're there.
and Chinatown Hotel is like 10-15 minute walk. Like you go under the train station there into
Okay.
Chinatown. It's like a block or two off State Street. It's great.
All right,
So
Amy. When did you
yeah.
first realize that you love metal music and wanted to create more of it?
Oh man, thinking about that question, this morning actually, because it's kind of hard to put my finger on exactly when, because I've been singing and playing in bands, like alternative underground projects, since I was like 16, right?
Mhm.
And when I first started playing guitar. And I used to do like heavy metal acoustic guitar covers when I was busking on the street. And um for I mean I guess for most folks that wouldn't know, I toured in like a country band for a long time. And I did kind of the folk punk country circuit, like Muddy Roots, Farmageddon kind of style stuff, and outlaw country and folk punk, and did that for many years. And then I started singing with a couple of other bands, punk bands, and then I had just gotten off of a solo tour when I was asked to join Substratum in Seattle, and um, at the time I was working at this karaoke bar, the Crescent,
Yeah.
and Ye Old Crescent,
Yeah.
and it ended up just kind of coming together super organically, super naturally, kind of just slid right on into it, and it's been nothing but up from there. So,
That's really interesting. I didn't know that Substratum was like the first heavy metal band because I remember you also played at the Kraken, an acoustic set. I was there for one of those.
yep.
And I remember when you started Substratum, those boys. And
Well, Substratum existed before I came along.
oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I didn't start till you were.
they've been around for actually quite a few years, and they had a few lineup changes before I joined and before Max joined.
You know what? In my head, Substratum, I didn't know about them until you were in them. So that was my mistake. But um,
Well, that we hit the studio and like re-recorded the first record with my vocals instead of someone else's, and then we had quite a few self-releases after that because we were never signed.
mm,
Um, and so we did everything ourselves. And we'd actually played Legions of Metal and Frost and Fire,
mhm.
and we had gotten some interest from a couple of labels overseas, and things were kind of starting to happen. And then um, they parted ways. So, in short story long, right? When Substratum dissolved and we decided that we weren't going to be a band anymore, that was most definitively the moment that I was like, I can't stop doing this. This is what I want to be doing.
Mm.
And that was when we formed Solicitor instead.
Yeah, I feel like you had a change in vocal style with Solicitor as well early in.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love the direction that you took it in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely um the brainchild of Matthew Vogan and I to go harder and heavier because we've always been into like speed metal, thrash metal, death metal. That was more of our purview. Substratum was definitely not that. Hard rock, heavy metal. It was fun, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
Johnny's a fucking phenomenal guitarist, some of the best guitar tone I've ever heard in my life. Um, but we didn't know what the hell we were doing, and um, I don't think Solicitor would be what it is now if it wasn't for Substratum coming before.
That makes sense.
So,
Yeah, little work in the laboratory.
yep, get
Uh,
your sea legs.
so bringing up the Crescent, um, we had some good karaoke on those Metal Mondays that you would host.
Oh yeah.
Like I knew when it was happening that it was gonna be like a thing that was talked about in the future where it was like, remember when blah blah
Yep.
blah 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 all lived in Seattle at the same time and Amy hosted
Right.
Metal Mondays and it was just like rock star karaoke every week.
It was pretty great. It was
I
pretty
mean,
great.
and nobody was like faking it. Everyone was very serious
No,
about their songs. It was really fun. So
it
much fun.
was such a blast. And we had like the best song selection too. I mean, deep cuts of like all the classic, legendary bands and some random power metal stuff, a ton of Manowar, tons of Dio and Judas Priest. I mean,
Halloween.
it
Yeah,
was really becoming something, you
I
know.
know. Oh, and I think that did we ever try to get you to Winehold? I feel like we talked about it there, trying to get her into the binder.
I think we tried, but it was really hard to find uh old like Velvet Viper songs
Yeah.
that weren't, just direct riffs off of YouTube.
Yeah, they had a lot of legal troubles I learned later when I looked into her journey and
Hmm.
yeah, what a trooper. I also didn't realize how early she started that she was in Germany she was known as the German answer to Janis Joplin.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
no, she has a very long and storied career, for
yeah,
sure.
amazing. And I love that her voice just got better and better as she got older. She's such an inspiration. Like she was really singing heavy before metal and
Yeah.
then moved into it gracefully and has like I don't know. Have you heard the single from Velvet Viper called I think it's called Only One Viper or maybe it's just called Velvet Viper. I'm like just thinking of the
Hmm.
chorus right now. It's a new one. I'll send it to you later. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, next question. So, if you could collect three vinyl records in history, any of them, what would you like to have?
Oh man. Three vinyl records in history. I'm gonna step out of heavy metal for a minute because I might want to get some old recordings of Big Mama Thornton.
Big Mama Thornton. Wow,
Yeah.
cool. The
Speaking of
roots.
phenomenal voices,
Yeah.
and because man, I mean, she was rocking harder than most of the rockers. Um, "Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog" is her song.
Hmm.
Uh, Elvis just covered it. Stuff like that, like things that are early rock and roll, proto metal. Um, oh man, that's a tough question because
Take your time. We want to know what you really.
I mean, there's just so much good stuff out there,
Oh my gosh, it's
right?
dumb.
It's like hard to choose.
And
Um,
maybe I should have said just metal.
no, but definitely some of those older blues recordings, especially female blues musicians. You know,
Uh huh. Okay,
um,
two more. Come
and I
on.
think I know, two more. Let's see. Honestly, an early edition of Velvet Viper's Fourth Quest for Fantasy would be pretty awesome on vinyl if I could ever get a hold of one of those.
Imagine that. Yeah.
Gosh,
Who
it
has
was
one?
reissued on CD um, not too long ago, and she's still performing. She's still touring around. She had some show dates in Germany not too long ago.
That's so
Um,
awesome.
but unfortunately, her original drummer passed away
Mm.
earlier, or sorry, late in 2023. Um, and he had been with the band from its inception, from what I understand, even Zed Yago days. Um, so I think Fourth Quest for Fantasy, any of Big Mama Thornton's recordings, and oh gosh, what would be a final and third album of all time for me? That's such a tough call.
I mean, honestly, I'm like reselecting the vinyl that I'm gonna play the exit game with for you just
Uh-huh.
because of these the answer to this question. I was like, I gotta do this different.
I
Because
mean, I think an obvious answer, of course, would be any of the Judas Priest that I don't already own, aside from the big ones. Some of the Japanese issues, maybe. It's tough. It's tough to pick three. God damn it.
I'll I'll take a Japanese release of a Judas Priest vinyl, anything from Big Mama Thornton and um early Zed Yago. Or wait, no, that's what it said.
Velvet Viper, Fourth Quest for Fantasy. Yeah.
Okay, if you could play a tour with any three bands, dead or alive, who would you choose?
Ooh.
Who
You
are you
know,
gonna summon?
oh man. I would love to tour with Onslaught from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I think hmm.
Onslaught.
Yeah, Onslaught from the UK. I think Sentinel Beast would be a close second. Debbie Gunn's vocals are just too fucking good.
I don't know that,
Um,
so I'll have to check them out.
they're from Los Angeles. She also sang for Ice Age and Snow White.
Ooh,
Um, just killer, super thrashy, like it's speed metal-y, good shit all around. And Sacrilege with Tam. Yeah,
amazing. Do you
yeah.
um okay, so which one are you gonna go on tour with first? Because I'm sure you can have your pick. Also, what was the name of the second band? I just want to write it down because I'm very
Oh,
curious.
Sentinel Beast. Yeah.
Sentinel Beast. Okay.
Yeah. They do a killer cover of Phantom of the Opera.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah. They'll
Um,
speed it out.
so looking back on your life, what was a big decision you made that turned out to be a great choice? And you, who have lived so many, like,
It's a lot of lifetimes.
yeah, you've had a lot of lifetimes. You've had a lot of different like gig work. You've lived in a lot of different places. You've traveled. You've had different bands. Like you've
Right.
had all these different creative outlets. So, humongous question.
It's a big question. And I have a tendency to um look back on certain memories with rose colored glasses. I think we can all identify with that, and I get really nostalgic for times that may not have been very good after all.
Oh, uh-oh.
you know, just in the sense that I can look back on it and go, wow, I did that crazy shit. I made it out alive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I used to hitchhike around the country. I used to ride freight trains. I
Can we get a freight train
did
story?
I I have lots of freight train stories. One of the dumbest ones is probably getting into a fist fight with my best friend at the time in Montana while we were waiting to hop out. And he starts walking across this train bridge in Missoula, and I have no choice but to follow him. And there's a train coming. And we have to get the fuck off the bridge before this train comes through. And we almost didn't fucking make it. I mean, I'm talking like within feet of not making it off this train bridge while we're actively fighting with each other. Don't hate me. I was like 20.
No,
Uh,
it's fine. I mean, we don't all have like a story on a bridge with a train, but we all have a story like that, sort of.
where you're just like so consumed with like having the last word and like being right,
Yeah,
that you put yourself in a really dumb and precarious situation.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that's like anyone with siblings has had that. Um,
Yeah. Siblings are just like close friends that you love to hate, you hate to love.
yes.
And yeah. I look back on that stuff and I'm like, wow, never gonna do that again.
Oh,
So
well, probably close.
not like that at least. It's hard though because some of the things that I have done and lived through and experienced and been a part of, you know, I as I get older, I've found that I've had this like eternal wellspring of optimism juxtaposed with this fuck everything, I hate the world, right? There's got to be another way. And so I find myself reinventing the wheel
Mm,
unnecessarily
mm,
in some situations because I don't want to do it this way
mhm,
because fuck your opinion or whatever reasoning I had, right? Like old people, I don't know, advice, right? I'm like, I'm gonna do it my way or the highway.
I feel like that is evidencing itself in your current home that you are building from scratch. You're like, fuck doing it your way. I'm going to build my own house.
Well, I'm not building a house. I'm living in a cabin,
Mhm.
as you can see by the
Yes, it looks
shipwreck
very
wall
cool.
behind me. Um, on the edge of town,
Mhm.
renting from a friend's father who has this little structure on his property, and it's semi off grid. And I say semi off grid because I don't have the usual amenities that everyone else would normally have. Um, I have electricity, I have running water, but I don't have hot water. I don't have plumbing. So, for anyone that's familiar with any kind of camp life, van life, homesteading, or anything like that, that's not really that big of a deal. Um, and I've got my wood fire stove, and I've got my chickens, and I've got my garden, and I've got my cat,
Got chickens.
and
Got a
I'm
garden.
happy with
Got a
that.
cat. Next chapter, pirate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right.
It kind of comes around full circle in a way.
You did the train. You did the van
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
And cabin life, pirate. So, I mean,
Yes,
I've got a parrot.
I
Laura's got
know.
a boat.
I
Do you want to be a
mean,
captain of a pirate ship?
we're 1 foot off the dock already. We're doing fine.
I'm saying, like, I feel like you'd be a great captain. Um, can you imagine? And we just all sing like Zed Yago songs on this boat.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing. Are you kidding me? SS Yago.
Raise the flags. Uh, and the flags are just like banners that we stole from other bands. So
Exactly.
what is your favorite piece of gear or stageware that you own?
Ooh. So the last year and a half or so with Solicitor, of course, I've been trying to get away from Substratum, and I'm trying to get away from um, a lot of things. I mean, my priorities as far as how I want to be perceived and seen have changed a lot. Or maybe they haven't. I don't know. I'm still examining what that looks like. Um, but folks that are familiar or folks that aren't familiar, I wear a crown that I made,
Hmm.
and it's like a leather circlet, right? And something about that feels powerful in a way that allows me to evoke this character,
Hmm.
this persona, right? That is an extension of a part of myself,
Hmm.
right? And I feel like when it comes to explaining or conveying heavy metal spirit, right? You want to be the master of your own destiny, of your own reality, right? Because the experience that you're creating for your audience and for your fans is one that should, in my opinion, lift them up or inspire them, not in a Hallmark card kind of way, but in the way that, like, I think Rob Halford and Ronnie James Dio really personify a lot of that, right? Is this feeling of overcoming the things in your life that have kept you down, that others have tried to put on you, and shedding that and making your own way, right? So I would definitely say the crown is probably my favorite piece of gear right now.
Oh, that was so beautiful. I'm glad that I got that on video so I can like rewatch that and think about that so many more times. You're so right though. And I love that philosophy. It transcends the theater of metal. Like we all love good theater in heavy
Right,
metal,
right,
fantasy realm.
yeah.
But to take it to a place where it's about like, oh, I don't know, you said it best. I can't even repeat it. I'm just gonna watch
Well,
it.
I mean, it's an escape. Heavy metal is a place and an idea and a world and a way of viewing the world. Some people might disagree. Fuck you. It's for the outsiders and for the nerds and for the people that really don't necessarily fit in with the clickiness or um, the other things. I mean, I'm also harkening back to generations before myself too, right? But I played a lot of video games as a kid, and I played with action figures and model toys, and I painted little cars and figurines and things, and I really just wanted to put the blinders on and kind of live in my own little world,
Mm.
right? I didn't want to deal with what was going on outside of me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's something about heavy metal that attracts that kind of person that wants to escape, whether it's through fantasy or science fiction or the any other theme, right? But you want to escape and transcend reality. And there are so many themes in within heavy metal to play off of with that. And of course, you have these cultural icons like Dungeons and Dragons and Heavy Metal Magazine and various comic book publication systems and not systems, but comic book publishers and that kind of create this world around music. And it's kind of interesting to watch because the music feeds the culture and the culture feeds the music, right?
Totally. Totally.
And I'm sure that can be said for other genres too, but I don't know if it can be said for how incredibly immersive it can become.
Um, yeah, I love that. Like art, life imitates art, and art imitates life, and it's just a cycle.
Right.
Um, and I mean, I don't know if anybody who's listening to this could not possibly relate to what you just said. Like personally for me, like this painting,
Mm-hmm.
uh, my quintuple headed bass goddess, it's got all these little faces of women bassists in it, and it's just there to
Yeah.
remind me to like go play bass. And
Yeah.
but then I got these hot pink strings that I can't stop talking about. And then when I put them on my guitar started to look more and more and more like the painting. It's
I love that.
like getting out of hand. But at the same time, that's what heavy metal is. It's like when
Right.
the fantasy just starts to take over. And and yeah, I mean like I don't know, it's interesting because you can also bond with other people in the community so much
Yeah.
over these like shared fantasy realms.
Right.
Like I mean, even like I mean, there's so many history nerds in heavy metal and archaeologists and people way
Right.
into like sci-fi writers and
Mm-hmm.
um it's definitely a multifaceted community. Oh, and then like the creativity, everything from like the fashion designers and illustrators and
Mhm.
leather workers and metal workers and
Right,
everybody. Um, but like thematically, we're all held together by this fantasy stuff.
right.
Oh,
No,
and
it's really fascinating too when it comes to fashion and art and illustration and music and how all of that blends together. And honestly, I mean, quite honestly, I would say hip hop is probably the only other genre I can think of that can, because so I'm going to walk myself back a little bit here because I think hip hop might be the only other genre of music that can become that immersive.
I feel like it it could be anything because I know country, like they've got their fashion, just like hip hop has its fashion. And
Sure.
maybe we're just so deep in heavy metal that we don't know what's going on out there.
Right. It could be.
It's okay. I like
It
it
could
here.
be.
I like it here. It's
Well,
nice.
absolutely. But I I'm not trying to say I'm any kind of expert on anything, but I wonder if the world of hip hop or country or anything else can become as deep as we feel heavy metal. But again, we feel heavy metal. That's what we are drawn to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I would be interested to hear from some other folks at some point in the future
Yeah.
about their views on all of that.
Yeah. Different channel. Um,
Thoughts for the future. But
so, oh gosh. Any new announcements for us? When I get to this question, I know that I'm getting to the end of the interview, which sucks for me because I always love talking to
aw,
everybody that comes on the channel. So,
right.
what?
So let's see. I'm headed to Hell's Heroes at the end of March. Let's see here. Hold on, let me back that up. I have an in-person event coming up in Portland because I vend, right?
Mhm.
Finer General, leather goods, custom stuff, all that good shit. Um,
Buy yourself
I
a
have an
bag.
event coming up on Friday, March 15th at Hollywood Theater in Portland. There's a I don't know what to call them. They're a museum and a production company and a film archive and an art production house. They're called Weird War, like WYRD War, WAR, and they put on movies at the Hollywood Theater, but they also bring actors, actresses, and musicians out to a lot of these events, right? So
Mhm.
they're doing a screening of Rock and Roll Nightmare featuring Thor, right? And he will be performing the following evening at Coffin Club in Portland with, I believe, Questmaster, the Dungeon Synth band. Um, and they're doing like this like dungeon makers market, so it's like a fantasy artist market during
Mm,
the screening of the film. And then Thor is playing some shows, and that's just going to be fun and
yeah.
immersive and
Mhm.
interactive, you know.
Yeah.
And then Hell's Heroes is a couple weekends after that down in Houston, Texas. And then a week after that, I'll be at 2 Minutes to Tulsa in Oklahoma with a couple of days in between spent in Wichita at my favorite record store, The Gate. Um, Doing a pop up there and lurking around the shop for a couple of days.
Mhm.
Uh, so those are the next like immediate things I have coming up, and then Solicitor is knee deep in the trenches on our next release. We're wrapping up writing here soon, and fingers crossed hitting the studio as soon as possible. I feel like I've been saying that for a year now, but we've also just been really busy.
Uh,
Um,
I mean, you're not alone. Everybody that comes on this channel is like, maybe you'll hear something in a year. And it's like, honestly,
big announcement of something big to announce.
no, it's fine. It's like nobody can predict it. There's so much
Right.
like feedback work and
Yeah.
retakes and and
Yeah.
oh my god, the cat meowed in the back of the take and like all this
Right.
stuff. So
Well, and it's tough too because you want to schedule things out
mhm.
to drop at a certain time.
Mhm.
And at the same time, you want to give yourself the room you need to really put out the best release that you can,
Mhm.
right? And along with that, not just your pressing plant time and your, how long of a deadline you give your visual artist, how long of a deadline do you give to your layout person, unless you're doing it yourself, in which case then you have to figure that out on your end. But if you're working with a collaborative group of people like we do with Cruz del Sur and Gates of Hell Records, right? Um, it takes time. And making sure that everything is done and complete. Our initial release was so fast. The timeline that we gave ourselves, the deadlines that we gave ourselves were brutal and excruciating. We got that record out faster than any record I think I could have ever conceived putting out, and
Mm.
we're not happy with it,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Mm.
And we released it, we had it finished and pressed and ready to drop the week that we were supposed to play Keep It True in 2020,
Mm.
right? But
Mhm.
of course, we know how things went in 2020 with
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
pandemic and everything. And so it kind of took the wind out of our sails in a way
Mm.
because we're very hesitant to put something out that we're not proud of,
Yeah, of course.
right?
Because they're like, I mean, they're permanent. And
Right.
I mean, everybody else loves the record, but
I think that's a testament to the strength of those songs, right? And
right.
it's not the songwriting that we're unhappy with, it's the production and the mixing and the mastering that we put into it because we didn't give ourselves enough time.
Oh, well, take all the time you need. People can fucking wait. So,
They're gonna have to fucking wait. But it is coming, I promise.
and we are excited. Um,
Yes.
where can we listen to your music? How can we follow what you do?
So, if you go to Bandcamp, solicitor, I think it's solicitor dash speedmetal dot bandcamp.com, not slash, but dash. Um, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. So solicitorsfeedmetal.bandcamp.com. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. It helps if you follow us and like all of our stuff. Um, you could find me on Instagram as BabeHammer40K. That's my personal page. Or BabeFinder General. That's my shop page. BabeFinderGeneral.com. All that stuff. And that'll be in the show notes too. Um, I cross post across all of those different platforms pretty daily. I'm sure people get sick of my spam sometimes because I'll have the same post on like 4 different accounts. It's the age of social media we live in now. I'm
Gotta do
sorry.
what we gotta do. We gotta be
You
spammy.
gotta do it. It sucks and I don't like it, but it's
Sure
a
does.
necessary evil.
Yeah. And I mean, we're doing it today, but tomorrow they might take it away from us. So, right, like,
Right, right.
I don't
Exactly.
know.
So,
I don't know. It's where we are.
but yeah, no, Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp, and let's see, what am I forgetting?
You're on Spotify. You're
We
in
are on Spotify. We're also on YouTube because not all of our releases are on Spotify.
oh,
And
that's
so,
very good information.
yeah, so we had like a demo and an EP and a 7-inch, and those are all on YouTube. Um, some of them were uploaded as like bootlegs or whatever. I mean, I don't really care. Some of them are uploaded on the New Wave of True Heavy Metal Full Albums channel.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm sure there's a handful of playlists that have us on there. But yeah, Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. Bandcamp, of course, is the easiest way to support us if you want to purchase anything from us. Um, we don't have any merch up there right now because we're planning to drop new merch with the new record.
Ah,
And I get messages from people every now and then. Hey, when are you gonna have patches? When are you gonna have pins? When are you gonna, hold your horses. All that stuff will be re-upped when the next record comes out.
All right,
So
everybody go, make sure you've got that set as your homepage. Solicitors ban every day.
yes.
Okay. So,
Love it.
actually, I have one more question for you, even though I think that you're having an extra long episode, but a lot of people were extremely excited. I don't know how many people were like, when's Amy going to be on the channel? I was like, she's already scheduled. It's okay.
That's hilarious, and I love that.
Yeah. People have been waiting for this, so they're getting everything. I hope they.
Awesome.
Anyway, last question before we play our
Yeah.
closing game is, if you could play at any festival, which one would you like to play at?
At any festival?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's not fair because there's so many festivals.
Which one? Give us a big one that you'd like to have.
Oh, I mean, I can probably say a lot of other people will say this if they have not said it already, but I would love to play Vakken.
Okay. All right.
Just to have it under my belt and say we played Vakken, but not on a little side stage. I want to play on a big stage.
Okay. So I'm
You
gonna
know.
rally our viewers. I will put the link to where we can spam the walk-in email, and we're all gonna say, "Where the fuck is Solicitor? They have a new album, and Bandcamp is my homepage." So put them all
Thanks.
on. Yeah. Well, I feel like that's something that this channel can do. It's like we can like rally each other for this. All right.
Well,
So
there's also, on that note though, I mean, fuck, there's so many cool little I don't want to say little because they're not necessarily technically little, but there's so many cool festivals overseas and here in the United States, right? I
mhm.
mean, you've got Legions of Metal, of course, which is coming up in May. You've got Blades of Steel in Wisconsin. You've got there's 2 Minutes to Tulsa in Oklahoma. There's Hell's Heroes in Houston. There's Trevor from Haunt has a new festival that he just started up in Fresno, Frozen in Time Fest. There's LA's Gates of Metal Fest. There's, I mean, fuck man, there's not to mention all the death metal festivals and other things too. But
Mhm.
like, even overseas, like there's Pirating and Warriors Open Air, which is in France, Switzerland,
The
French Alps.
well,
I think
yeah,
it's. I
the
think it,
Pyrenees are like between Spain and France. So,
right.
but I don't
So
know how big
it's
they are. Honestly, we're Americans. Let's just look.
hey, geography is not my finest suit.
We don't
Maybe
need to. We're
someday.
on our own
But
continent.
like Pirating and Warriors Open Air, Courts of Chaos Festival, Humans, Awakening Fest, Dying Victims Attack. Like there's all these little festivals around Keep It True and Up the Hammers and Headbangers Open Air and Hell Over Hamburg and all these things. I know I'm just like listing so many overwhelming names,
You're
but
only getting walk-in. We're only voting for you for walk-in. So, all right.
I would love to just say I fucking played Vakken
Well, I'm sure you will. So,
someday.
ready? Which one?
All right, what do we got? Ooh, Dolly
Pick a
or
doll.
Dusty.
Dolly or Dusty?
Oh, breaking my heart.
I would.
Dolly.
I know that you can play a hard version of this. That's why I had to just reshuffle the vinyl. She is so knowledgeable that she's gonna have to have a hard one.
Yeah, Dolly. God, that's such a good gatefold spread. Glamour at its finest,
I know. May we all.
right? Ooh, Jefferson Airplane or Betty Davis. Oh man, tough call again. I don't know. I think that Betty Davis record is a better record overall than that particular Jefferson Airplane album. So
I have to agree with you.
yeah, Betty Davis. Already though, there's a theme because with Dolly and Betty, they were very much their own person.
Sure
They were
were.
their own person. You know, they
Two.
had bands that backed them up. They had people that they toured with. They worked their asses off to get to where they were. I sense a theme.
Blue.
Ooh, nice.
Right? All day I've been telling my phone to stop sending me emails, but it's not listening. Listen.
Oh, let's see. Ooh, Gladys Knight and the Pips and Coven. Oh, that's not even fair. God.
You
That's
must.
not even fair. I hate you so much right now.
I don't think she can have a hard one.
Funny thing. So Coven played Northwest Terrorfest in like what 2016 or so, and I somehow ended up with the coffin that she used on that tour.
Fascinating. Do you still
Um,
have
yeah, it's outside of my studio right now.
it?
I know. I love that record. So
My style
good.
icon. Oh my gosh.
So good.
She's actually
I mean, God, you're just not fair at all. I will karaoke some Gladys Knight all fucking day long.
he even sold his old guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, and this one's I didn't realize that the song titles in this on this particular one that I have are in Spanish. Um,
Uh,
El Tren de Medianoche a Georgia. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna go with Coven this time.
All right. You win this
It's a
time,
tough
Pink.
choice though.
Okay. Having so
Oh
much fun.
no. Tammy Wynette, hands down. I
Oh,
love Patti LaBelle, don't get me wrong, and that record rules. But Tammy Wynette, she just Stand By Your Man and PIVORCE. I don't want to play house. I mean, she was just such a Harper Valley PTA. I mean, that song's about like sticking it to the entire fucking PTA, all the parents in the town, everyone who ever thought you dressed too crudely, you know.
I did.
Tammy
But
Wynette all day long.
but those early
Fist City. Loretta Lynn also sang Fist City, if I remember correctly.
oh, okay, good. I was like, oh shit, Loretta Lynn's not the next one in the pile, right? Um, so yeah, like Loretta Lynn and somebody else. I don't know, these early country women singers,
Yeah.
their themes.
Wanda Jackson is another
Wanda
one.
Jackson was exactly who I was
Yes.
thinking about.
Funnel of Love.
Yeah, and their themes were just very, very feminist, very feminist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Early,
Ooh. Oh man. I'm gonna have to go with Grace Slick.
yeah, this I will say I don't think this round was as hard. Like Laura Branigan, she was famous for that Gloria song and Dirty Dancing, but
Yep.
I don't know what else to like say about her work. But
Mhm.
this is like obviously where Miley Cyrus got all her ideas,
Yep. Oh yeah.
which
Her
is cool.
incredible
Like,
marketing team.
if she's gonna get her ideas from anybody, get them from Grace Slick because she was freaking
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, and the hair.
Iconic.
Oh, so good. Mistreater,
Mm-hmm.
Shot in the Dark, such an album. Oh,
Oh
I
yeah.
love Grace Slick. She stopped doing music to become a painter, and I looked at her paintings, and there was one, and they were all awful, totally terrible,
I'm gonna have to look
awful.
at it now.
Grace Slick made them, and I saw that there was one that was like maybe it was like $400, and I was like, should I buy that? And then I waited, and then I looked at them again after the pandemic, and they were all like $40,000. And I was like,
Jesus.
yeah, I was like, somebody.
I thought that's something I don't understand is like the art sales world
Oh, it's a
and the
world of its own.
value that are placed on certain items and ideas of expression.
It's a stock market, more or less. So
Right,
people that buy from the artist, the more
right.
the prices can go up. And then the artist, if they can't like continue to sell at that price, they pretty much have to stop selling work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a trap. Like if you blow up too fast in the art world, it can end your career. And it's a big problem right now post pandemic because the art market had the craziest growth in all of history for
Right.
like 18 months, and it's come to a dead stop.
Right.
So, because the rich people aren't that rich anymore. Now it's only billionaires who are rich. So it all got
Yeah.
messed up.
No, I have a friend who works at a gallery, a couple of galleries in Los Angeles. She's their resident art historian and helps us do all the research for appraisals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, really fascinating stuff. And I hear about some of the things and some of the numbers that get thrown around and like how certain things are authenticated and kind of just like warehoused around the globe
Mm-hmm.
until they appreciate a certain value and then
Yes.
they're either sold or cashed in or whatever. It's wild. I don't get it.
It is. It's like sometimes it's its own like fantasy world where like if I can't think about like the state of politics and war, I can think
Yeah.
about like these like feuding galleries, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I can disappear into this. But then I stay there for like a week and then I'm like, oh, this is disgusting. And I have to go do something else. It's just
Oh man.
another fantasy world.
Yeah.
Nothing in it makes sense. So
No, the
um
numbers are all make believe.
they sure are. They sure are. So, anyway, that's the end of our episode. Amy, thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you for having me on.
Make sure that you let me know when you want to announce something, and you can come back on the channel and give us some cool updates.
That'd be awesome. I would love that.
It's my queen. All right. Love
Woo.
you.
Love you
Bye.
too. Thank you.
You're welcome.